You're listening to WLTH Radio AM 1370, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice. Happy Wednesday, as some of you call it, Hump Day. I think I got the day right today. Awesome. My brain is not frozen today. It wasn't as cold as it's been in the past, and I think we're going to get warmer weather as it reaches to the weekend and the beginning of next week from your forecast weatherman. You've heard that yesterday, so let's see what today brings towards the end of the show. What am I going to talk about today? Well, first of all, let me read this before I go any further. The views expressed by the host and the callers of this show, not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owners, and sponsors. It's a special day that's coming up Monday, which everyone knows it nationally. Some celebrate it in one way, some celebrate it in another way. Some get together on the outdoors, and talk and do a celebration. I know that Gary, I thought I saw the newspaper here, Gary is doing a celebration of it. If anyone that's listening out there, I'd like for you guys to actually chime in and tell us how you guys celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. But the reason why I want to talk about this today, and for those of you that are on Facebook, please go in and like our page, Black Lives Matter, Northwest Indiana, All Lives Matter. We have the Dream Unhindered Freedom, Monday, January 19th at 6:45 a.m. The keynote speaker will be Michael A. Brown, the Lake County Clerk, Thomas McDermott Jr., Mayor, and the Pastor Orville Sanders from the Ministerial Alliance of Hammond and Vicinity. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., an annual candlelight march and celebration. This is an annual march, and that's going to take place in Hammond. Anyone can chime in and let us know how you're celebrating your Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Talk about some history about it. We're going to talk about that today as well. What really captivated my attention, and I mentioned to some people that are friends of mine in the community, and that are activists in the community, and I spoke about it earlier as well, is what alarmed me to bring this up is because we're celebrating it, and so are the politicians / public servants. So what we're going to talk about today is, why do they celebrate it? Meaning the politicians and the public servants. Why they celebrate Martin Luther King, and are they following his dream? That's questionable in some places, isn't it? We're going to talk about that today. Calling numbers 219-885-1371. We all have heard the I have a dream pertaining to Martin Luther King. I was blessed enough to meet his daughter, and she was out here a couple years ago, and you'll see those pictures again posted out there on Facebook, because it was a moving day. The I Have a Dream. I really don't know what happened to that movement, but it was successful. We met with her a day before. We had the service the next day in Gary. She was powerful. Her speech was very powerful, and there's still history because he has children here, and I want you to listen to a 5-minute biography. Most of us know about Martin Luther King, but not everybody. And how I found out is the fact that in my job, I also do psychological evaluations, where I interpret psychological evaluations. And in those tests, there's a series of questions about history to see where they're at, if they are aware of today, if they are aware of who the president is, if they are aware of, one question actually is, who is Martin Luther King Jr.? And I'm finding out that not everybody knows it. And they are from Puerto Rico. Now, I can understand those from Mexico that are not all in tune to history, but everybody should know who Dr. Martin Luther King is and what he stood for and what he stands by. Still today, it's a legend. It's something that we must all continue to follow, because we all have a dream, right? But is our dream what his dream was? And are they following his dream? I'm going to answer some calls real quick, and then I'm going to play the 5-minute biography for those that may not know much about him other than we celebrate it, and in some cases it's become a hallmark business thing. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Eve.
Good afternoon.
Good topic, and someone needs to bring it up, and we need to honestly speak about.
Yes.
Are we following the dream?
Yeah, I have my little angel speak to me, and I had to bring it today because we're talking at 3:30 in the morning when it came to me. Mm-hmm. That's what I was supposed to talk about today.
Yeah, well, that's good because someone needs to bring it out, and there's going to be some hard feelings. But how do the same old people that after the white race fled Gary, that gained control without the city was handed over, without blueprints or people properly educated and put into position, a clique of people assumed position over a whole town of people. People came here from all around.
Mm-hmm.
Westside High School was just barely built. 1968 had a convention here.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to do a lot of things. There was a lot of infighting amongst ourselves. We have destroyed the best school system that the world could produce at one time. And
mm-hmm.
we point fingers at people downstate. And when we did it to ourselves, are we following the dream? We can't even go fish in Lake Michigan. And then
exactly.
They tell us the water is poison, and yet we drink it.
Mm-hmm.
The dream has become a nightmare.
Exactly. And I heard it from an almost 16-year-old today and says, no, Mom, nobody is really paying attention to that dream. We're going backwards. We're reverting instead of moving
Mm-hmm.
forward. For a teenager
Exactly.
to see that, what does that say? And to say it.
Yeah, it's shameful, and I'm going to say there's a lot of people that don't come out and vote. They are sick and tired of that clique of African Americans that sit up there at that Frontier dinner, that don't talk to anybody, that sit down there and have a restaurant built for themselves, and where they high-five each other across the street over there when they're stepping, and where they have their little parties and their get-togethers, and they give each other awards every year, and all the rest of us are just sitting there looking at them. Here we're living in abject
and you know
poverty.
what? You mentioned that, Silas, because I have spoken of this before, that people that get paid to do their job get awards. What about those people that do it regardless of a dollar sign or a check or any monetarily reward, as in a paycheck for your job? That is true work, because I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, did Martin Luther King Martin Luther King Jr. get paid for what he was doing?
I don't think he got paid anything.
Don't think
I think
so.
he struggled. It was a struggle.
Think so.
This year was astounding. It kind of woke me up to some things. I thought the city was broke. People went out and cleaned the parks. And the city of Gary is going to get a park for doing something that they should have, getting an award for Marquette Park for something that they should have been taking care of all through
from the
get-go.
That is a
state
job.
Of disrepair.
I saw that. I didn't really get into the depth of it. I did see that they were going to get an award for Marquette Park, and I said, wow, is it because of the money that was spent there or what? I mean, we have to keep up with our city, period, without someone patting our backs.
Exactly. You don't get an award for cutting the grass and tuck pointing
doing
the
your
building
job,
that you had
right?
the opportunity to do for the last 40 years.
For doing your job. Well,
I'm not one thing I'd like to say before I go.
Go ahead.
All that stuff they did, the lines in the parking lot have just like vanished. They put it down with the watered down paint. The asphalt is dulled. The bricks have got soot on them again from the mills, and the statue is tarnished.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like they did anything.
Makes you wonder what was really included in the budget when the budget's always, talked about, planned out, and everything.
I have to say this: they never even connected the boat launch to the water. How do you get away with stuff like that and no one is arrested? Eve, we're going backwards.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm moving forward, and I know you're moving forward, and we have to keep pushing everybody else to move forward. And I'm going to
That's
play
right.
the 5-minute biography, but I think we have another caller. Thank you for
All
holding.
right,
Go
Eve,
ahead.
I'm
Thank you,
enjoying the
Silas.
show.
Thank you. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Thank you for holding.
Hello, Eve. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I know that you were talking about Martin and everything, and it seems like everybody goes off on a different subject. But I just want to address something that the last caller just said. Why do people in Gary sit around and complain? Put your name on a ballot.
Hello.
If you figure you're going to make a change, put your name on a ballot and quit calling the radio station upset. You are mad about what was done at Marquette Park. Yeah, they spent a bunch of money, but at least people can go out there and go to the beach now. At one time, you couldn't even go to that beach. It was so dirty and nasty.
But you know what? I understand what you're saying.
Who put a restaurant somewhere?
I understand what you're saying, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But shouldn't the city keep up with what they own?
Okay, the city didn't keep up with it for 30 years.
Exactly.
This is not just Karen's fault.
No, it's taken many years. It's taken many years.
And not just the people that you put in office. Why don't you go with the citizens?
It don't
hurt to bend down and pick up a piece of paper
no,
if you don't live in that neighborhood.
No, it does not. And it's all blame for all.
We always want to blame someone else. We want to blame someone else all the time. You got neighborhoods around here where people will walk over a sheet of paper and won't pick it up.
And won't, or actually drop something else besides that piece of paper that they saw.
Today there was a phone call on the Breakfast Club. A lady called in, elderly lady, who fell while trying to get to her car.
Oh.
She could not shovel her snow.
Oh.
She called in and asked for help. I called in and asked Mr. Williams, give me the lady information. I went out there to shovel her snow. This is just how we treat people.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Everybody on the block snow was shoveled.
Yes.
But hers.
See, and that's messed up. That's the problem with people, period. They don't have that compassion anymore. And our senior citizens need our help.
When I grew up, we shoveled the elderly people on the snow. It didn't make a difference. You got a dime or anything.
Exactly.
And what hurted me was, while I was out there shoveling this lady's snow, I shoveled the snow, I scraped up all the ice, I put down salt. A couple of people came out and was looking at me like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they find that weird. When you're being kind, they find it kind of, you're the crazy one and not them.
Yeah, but what I wanted to say about Martin was he was a very brilliant man. He was a leader. Mm-hmm. Because when you ask how does people celebrate Martin's birthday,
yes,
I celebrated it as a birthday for everybody that went through the civil rights and the struggle, because there are a lot of people who died, white and black, whose names will never be mentioned. So when you say Martin's birthday or Rosa Parks' birthday or one of their birthdays, I consider everybody's birthday that march for civil rights, because Martin didn't do it by himself.
No, he didn't.
He just got his name on a plaque and everything, got his name on the street because he was a leader. Because if you had to put everybody who fought for civil rights, if you had to make statues for them and put their name on the streets, you would never get to end it. I think every street in the world would have a statue with a name on it.
A huge list, for sure. For sure.
Yes. And you have a blessed day, Eve.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for calling and letting us know how you celebrate Valentine's Day. You know, Valentine's Day is coming up too, guys. And Martin Luther King's Day is coming up, yes. But we all have to learn to lead the way. And Martin Luther King, I don't believe, got a paycheck for it. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Eve. I'd like to make a quick comment, if I could.
Yeah.
I've been retired about 40 years, 27 years, exactly. And I get a railroad retirement pension check. I get a transferring pension check. And I get some other income. And I'm restricted from doing any work until I get 65. Mm-hmm. I can't even take a political job. Mm-hmm. But rest assured, when I get around that age, if the calling is there, I will stand up and do it. You know, but I think we do have a right to speak, and that seems to be that
we all
when you
do.
say something in this city.
But I understand.
It's like it's a communist country, and we're reverting it.
Right.
I call and express my opinion, and the same guy keeps calling in. But all I have to say is make sure you pay your taxes, and every time you fix a car, you better have a receipt, because the IRS is watching you, buddy.
And you know what? Speaking of taxes, I just got a text from one of our lovely listeners, and the question about it is, isn't that what we pay taxes for?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we're all taxpayers, so we all have say-so of how our city should be managed.
That's exactly. You just don't take what is given to you. This is not a communist society, but some people that want to have snow plowing contracts with the city want to kiss up to the mayor. But like I said, keep it up if you want to. And you know what? Every car that pulls in there, you better have a receipt for it. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Silas. It's 19 minutes after the hour. This is Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice. And I'm going to play this 5-minute biography because today I want to talk about how we celebrate Martin Luther King and why do political figures or politicians or powers that might want to be celebrate? Why do they celebrate? Listen to this 5-minute biography about Martin Luther King. Let's just refresh our memory.
He was a minister, a poet, a lover of words and freedom. He was a family man, a talented speaker, a seeker of truth and justice. He met every challenge he faced, and by the time he went home to the Lord, he was already an American icon. He was Martin Luther King Jr., and this is his story. He was born Michael Luther King Jr., but had his name changed to Martin later in life. His grandfather and father were pastors of the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. The family legacy served there since 1914. And from 1960 until his death, Martin Luther King Jr. acted as co-pastor alongside his father. Martin attended segregated public schools in Georgia, graduating from high school at the age of 15 after skipping 2 grades. He was a talented young man, receiving his Bachelor of the Arts degree in 1948 from Morehouse College, a distinguished institution in Atlanta, which both his father and grandfather graduated from. After 3 years of theological study at Crozer Theological Seminary, which he was also elected the president of, he was awarded Bachelors of Divinity in 1951. He then enrolled in graduate studies at Boston University and received his PhD in 1955. In Boston, he also met and married Coretta Scott, an intellectual and artistic young woman. They bore 2 sons and 2 daughters. In 1954, Martin Luther King Jr. became pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. He was a strong advocate for civil rights in the black community. He held a position in the executive committee of the NAACP, the leading civil rights advocates at that time. As a member, one of his tasks was to organize the first great civil rights protest ever to occur in United States contemporary history. This was a 382-day-long bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama. For at the time, people of different races were not allowed to ride in the same sections of the bus, and sometimes not even on the same buses at all. The boycott would prove to be quite effective, for on December 21st, 1956, the Supreme Court of the United States declared unconstitutional all the laws requiring segregation on buses. During this boycott, King was arrested. His home was bombed. He was subject to personal abuse, but at the same time, he emerged as a hero in the civil rights community. Martin Luther King Jr. is not just famous, however, for his "I Have a Dream" speech. What is the most outstanding is he based his entire model for the nonviolent movement on his experience as a Christian minister. He led massive protests that caught the attention of the entire world, all stemming from his belief that all men are created equal under God. Before a crowd of nearly 250,000 people, he made a proclamation. And that proclamation was that we should not be judged by the color of our skin, but rather by the content of our character. And his character was one of greatness, one that will be remembered in the history books as a man beyond reproach. A man who received the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 35. a man who has given distinguished honors from leaders all over the world. A champion for the rights of those who have none. Would that he were with us today, but alas, it is not so. A sniper ended his life on April 4th, 1968, as he was standing on the balcony of his motel room in Memphis, Tennessee. But though the man died that day, his legacy lives on. It lives on in the hearts of those who are like-minded, Christ followers seeking true equality. Not the fraudulent equality that puts one above another, but a truly colorblind equality, and one that values each person as a child of God. And as children of God ourselves, we must do all that we can to make sure that his dream is upheld and his legacy is not forgotten. That we too may join on that triumphant day in saying, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
That was a quick bio of Martin Luther King Jr. May he rest in peace. He stands for something positive. He stands for something good. He stands for something powerful. Knowledge is powerful, but the use of it is even greater. We can be as smart as we want, as intellectual as we want, but what we do with it is what makes a difference. Especially if you are a spiritual person and you're connected and you know that what you're doing is for the people, that's great. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Johnny Williams calling.
Hey, how are you, Johnny?
I'm doing great. I heard the little skit you played for 5 minutes. You know, Eve, it seemed like in today's society, everyone is backing up from the I Have a Dream speech. I mean, if you look around, people, they don't vote.
Right.
There's no type of crimes being committed.
Mm-hmm.
They're backing away from the I Have a Dream speech.
Exactly.
Martin Luther King, he and other leaders, they died for us to have the right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
They died for us to have the right to educate ourselves along with our children. And yet, we still ignore that.
Mm-hmm. We do, and that's what my question was out there, Johnny, and let's see what your response would be. Are they just celebrating it to be politically correct? I'm talking about our politicians, our public servants, et cetera.
That's my opinion. I agree with you. They're just trying to do it to be politically.
Because if they really believed in that, Johnny, we'd be in a better world.
That's my opinion. I don't think anyone cares about Martin Luther King Day anymore. I mean, certain schools, they don't even teach black history anymore. Here in the city of Hammond, they go around it. I graduated from Gavin High School. I never had a class taught or a month of black history. Never. They don't show it. They don't care about it.
I don't know exactly what schools don't show it or don't teach it. I remember back in my days, I mean, I learned a lot about black history. Mind you, I was here in Spalding. I don't know in Gary if it had anything to do with it. But at 3 o'clock this morning, I got the message because I saw the flyer of the promoting of the march that we're having in Hammond.
Correct.
And I looked at names. I said, oh, Brother Mike Brown, I got to talk to him before he goes up there on Monday. I want to, because he and I, we're spiritual and we connect on that level. And I want to know, are they really following that dream?
You know,
I mean, we know the answer, right? But you know, yeah, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Because everything now is a political deploy. It's an election year, but do you really care? You had 4 years or many other years to show your black history, to teach your black history, because there have been a lot of things that happened during the Civil Rights Movement. When Martin Luther King gave his speech April 3rd, that his eyes have seen the glory of the Lord, he was killed the next day. Because, see, people's faith, you have to know your past to know your future.
Amen.
And you see people out here shooting, selling drugs, Martin Luther King did not die for that. He didn't die for you just to not get an education. He died for all races, not just black. You have to teach this in school to educate our children, to let them know this is the reason why you're voting.
Yeah. And to appreciate it, that, hey, we were given that right when before we didn't have it. So let's exercise it. And Johnny, I'll just tell the audience, and I commend you for going out to these high schools to register our youth. Yes. I really appreciate that, and it has to be put out there. They say you don't have to worry about you trying to shine on your own. Other people will do it for you. Well, I'm going to do that, okay? And you know what? I will do what I can to bring it out there to help you as well, because that's important. It should start in the school. Besides at home, we have to lead by example as parents. But if the parents are lost somewhere, we got kids that want to know. We have to give them that choice of wanting to learn about it, not just assume about it. And so by you being there physically visible with the registrations for kids to vote, to register to vote, I think that's volume, and that's key. And I believe, in my own opinion, that we have to make that a mandate or mandatory in history and government class, that should be part of your curriculum, as in you register to vote. You are going to be 18 by the time elections come. Guess what? It's part of your curriculum. Omar, went to Morton, and he was saying that the teacher basically, whether he was going to do it or not, he says, hey, I need you to register to vote or you're flunking your class.
That's right. And that should be part of the curriculum. Because like you said, it wasn't just handed to us.
You had to fight for it.
Earn it. We had to fight for it. So now it's there. Don't ignore it.
Exactly.
Because you have mayors, governors, senators, even presidents. You have to vote. It's your duty. It's your civil duty. It's your right. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say about it.
Well, thank you so much. Do you have anything scheduled for the parents to know when you're going to be at some of these schools already, or no?
Well, I have to contact Gavin back again. The weather prevented me from.
No problem. When you do have them, please let me know so I can put it out there to alert the parents, to discuss it with their youth, their children, about the importance of voting and why. Because we just can't say vote, go vote.
That's right.
We can make change with the vote. Say why we need to make that change. Educate them.
That's correct.
Thank you so much for calling in, Johnny. Appreciate you.
All right.
It's 31 minutes after the hour. Let's go for some commercials, and we're going to, we got one more phone call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air, and thank you for holding.
Just one more, Eve. This is your humble servant, Gordon Keith. How you
doing? Good evening. How you doing, Mr. Gordon?
Oh, I'm blessed to be here. Amen. I certainly would like to applaud that last gentleman that just called. I'd love for him to contact me by way of Facebook. Because I think he's certainly hitting some of the nails right on the head.
Oh, he is.
At the same time, I just want to say I love going to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King. I've been there with my kids as well as my grandkids and so forth, also with the group of ministers that usually are there, and also celebrating with the Frontiers. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I am reminded that Dr. King's oldest daughter, Yolanda Denise King, had said that she thought the celebration of Dr. King should also include, let's say, classes, education, and so forth. And, for example, at this day and time, we can see that we have so much crime and corruption. Mm-hmm. So, therefore, some of those, let's say, classes should be dealing with how to love one another.
Exactly.
And to how to, let's say, live
that dream.
A good Christian life,
exactly.
how to serve one another, and education, because even the scriptures itself, especially in Proverbs, is mostly about education and treating one another right and so forth. So I wish that we would pick up on what his oldest daughter had to say about the celebration. In the meantime, I want to applaud even one of my own sons. His birthday is on Dr. King's birthday.
Okay,
we were blessed
happy
for that.
Birthday.
We call him Freeze Rock. He's also known as Rondell Adams.
Okay.
Thank you
happy
much,
birthday
Eve.
to him. You're welcome, and thank you for calling and sounding off.
Be blessed.
You as well. We got to go for some commercials. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this.
Holloway Home Remodeling Specialists are celebrating over 50 years of business and over 50 years of employing local residents. We pride ourselves in supporting you and all of the Northwest Indiana community by providing quality service at affordable prices. If you need plumbing, electric, heating, siding, bathroom and kitchen remodeling, and more, call Holloway Home Remodeling Specialists. We offer no money down financing, and all work performed is by FHA approved contractor. For a quick response for home remodeling services, call Holloway Home Remodeling Specialists at 219-884-0400. That's 219-884-0400. Home remodeling specialists are licensed, bonded, and insured in Northwest Indiana since 1965, and we are an A+ member of the Better Business Bureau. We are professional and our services are affordable. Remember, you may get remodeling terms with no money down, and we can assist with financing. Just call 219-884-0400. Holloway Home Remodeling Specialists are located at 300 West Ridge Road in Gary, Indiana.
Taking care of your health is a fundamental part of life from an early age. If, despite your best efforts, you are suffering a disabling illness or injury and your doctor feels home health care is needed, consider Health Masters Home Health. Health Masters Home Health has provided services in Northwest Indiana since 1993. You will find the care provided by Health Masters Home Health is just what you've been looking for. Imagine a team of talented, compassionate professionals who can provide complex procedures such as infusion therapy, advanced wound care, ventilator care, health instructions, and more in the comfort of your home. Your doctor provides oversight of the care we plan for you. We accept most types of payments for our services, including Medicaid and more. We can assist you in determining if you qualify for home health care services. To learn more about our services, you can contact us by calling 219-762-0004 or visiting us at 3200 Willow Creek Road, Suite C, Portage, Indiana. The home of $53 down. Driving in the state of Indiana without insurance is playing a dangerous game. You don't need to be involved in an auto accident requiring the need to show proof of insurance, and you cannot demonstrate proof of insurance. That's playing a dangerous game. Call Mo 219-884-7506 or visit Glen Park Auto Insurance located at 3992 Broadway in Gary, Indiana. Call Mo 219-884-7506. Need Mo? Call Mo Griffin by phoning 219-884-7506. He's the man with the auto insurance plan. Mo Griffin ensures that you are properly covered with auto insurance in the following areas: SR22, SR50, rejected or suspended license.
Have you had your driving privileges suspended due to a court judgment that requires a 3-year SR22?
Call Mo at 219-884-7506 or visit Glen Park Insurance. Need more? Call Mo. Need more? Call Mo. Need more insurance? Call Mo. He's the man with the $53 insurance plan. Need more? Call Mo. Need more? Call Mo. Need more insurance? Call Mo Griffin at 219-884-7506 or visit Glen Park Auto Insurance. He's the man with the $53 insurance plan. Located at 3992 Broadway in Gary, Indiana.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creeds. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, the spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots we on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Now the war is not over, victory isn't won, but we'll fight on to the finish, and then when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh, we'll cry glory, oh glory,
Selma is now for every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes, to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal, a king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald ego. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing, our music is the cuts that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream we had an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs in history. No one can win a war individually. It take the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh,
All right, welcome back. Love that song by John Legend, Glory. Is that the full name? Glory by John Legend. It's great, powerful message there. But are we following that message? Are we following that dream is what I wanted to talk about and what I've been mentioning. Are we as Americans, those that can vote, those that are in political seats, positions, public servants, mayors, anyone that's out there that shares that I have a dream speech, anyone that's out there celebrating it, are you following that dream? Are you? I'm asking that question to all you political figures, mayors, and whoever else, county, state, federal, that put it out there publicly. Join us for Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Join us for a candlelight vigil. Join us for a march. Are you really believing and living that dream? Or are you just all that in a bag of nothings? Are you just doing that to be politically correct? To say, hey, I'm for you too, brother. But you see, I said this to two other politicians, and I'm going to say this to you. And we say it a lot in Spanish. You cannot cover the sun with one finger. But people have tried and attempted to do it, and I don't see why they're wasting their breath or their energy or time, for that matter, to try to deceive. Yeah, that's what they're doing, deceiving you. But I don't blame them. I blame you for putting them there. I blame those that voted for them. Some things are good, some things are not. Why can't we work on that? What does it say? It takes to take, or what does Martin Luther King has said? I can't quote correctly word for word, but the first step is just taking that first step without seeing the whole staircase. I walk by faith and not by sight. And I have joy, and I enjoy my life with or without material things. His dream should be living in your own dream of becoming better, improving yourself, family, community, neighborhood, people as a whole. We should be working towards that dream. Some of us are, but not all of us. So when we celebrate Monday, I'll be in Hammond in March. Why should people march for something that they don't really believe in because they tell us otherwise in their actions? We get racial profiling. Yeah, I know that. We get targeted. Yeah, I know that. So my question to you, politicians, public servants, do you believe in that dream, or are just doing it to be politically correct, quote unquote? It's important that we, as taxpayers, know the reasons. I'm not going to assume. I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm going to watch. Because actions do speak louder than words. I can sit here and talk all day about Martin Luther King and his dream and all this. But we have to act on it. Let's be proactive. And I'm tired of seeing the reactive. Aren't you tired of it as well? Aren't you tired of being lied to? Aren't you tired of all that nonsense? So until you start getting tired, then I think maybe that's when you'll start thinking of making change with yourself, with how you see things, how you interpret things. Instead of just reading, learn to understand what you're reading. Because, see, I can quote Bible scriptures. I can post them on Facebook. I can do all that. But it's the question that I posted on Facebook, I don't know if it was yesterday, was, do you understand this? Oh, that was this morning. Do you understand this? Because I'm not just going to quote it, post it on Facebook. I live it. Do you? And that's a very good question. I think it's a very good question. And the quote was 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to do the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. I know that some people are tired of voting, but that one vote plus one makes a difference. When I first became an American citizen, I'll be honest, I wasn't into politics. I wasn't into what's going on in the world. I was into being a mother. I was into being a daughter. I was into being a wife. I was into being an employee. Because I didn't take it as serious as I do now, as I have in the past years. Because that change has to start with me. Instead of pointing fingers and blaming, I will take accountability for my own actions. Just like Cesar Chavez, another hero, another person that fought for rights as well, was sitting right or standing right next to Martin Luther King Jr., Two leaders, two great leaders. They weren't about just talk. They didn't just talk the talk, they walked the walk. Aren't you tired of hearing all that talk? 2015. I feel that this year is really going to be better than last year, especially in our youth. That's who we need to start leading, molding, discussing things with, teaching them, mentoring them. Because when I get to be 60, these teenagers that I'm talking to, that I'm mentoring, will certainly be better leaders at the time I reach 60, so that I won't be left out on the street without a care in the world about me. And I can do it, so can you. That change starts with ourselves. Yes, we want to see our city clean. Yes, it is a responsibility of the city as well. But who is getting it dirty? Who is loitering? I know police officers litter. Boy, do I know that. They shouldn't have to. They shouldn't be doing that either. There's laws out there that need to be enforced. There's also code of ethics that need to be enforced. And I think that's missing in the courtrooms, in the police stations, in the city departments. They're lacking ethics, morals, respect, dignity, and integrity. We have a problem, people. What do they say? Houston, we have a problem. All those ingredients make a heck of a person. I mean, an awesome person, if they have all those ingredients within themselves. This is Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio, the Region's Choice and the People's Voice. The calling number is 219-885-1371. How are you celebrating Martin Luther King's Day? And what were your thoughts? Do you think that they really care, that they're really following the dream? I pray so. I really do. But action speaks differently. Seriously. I would like to think, in a perfect world, that the mayors that are out there celebrating it, because every city has some type of celebration for Martin Luther King's Day, that they really do follow that dream. In a perfect world, that would be great. That certainly would be great. Wouldn't you think so? For a 15-year-old to think that we're reverting back, I'm sure many other kids are thinking the same. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. We have to change that. We, adults, leaders, we have to change that. So when is that going to be? That's a good question too, isn't it? When are we going to make that change? We're so wrapped up in ourselves, me, all about me. We're so wrapped up about glorifying ourselves that we're missing the true picture. So 2015, make that about change. True change. Things would certainly be different. Wouldn't you agree? And before I go into my weatherman's report, just want to have a media alert here. Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson and representatives from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development will make a special announcement Friday, the 16th, 8:30 to 9 at the Gary City Hall. While specific details cannot be shared at this time, please know that it will be wonderful news for the city of Gary and many of its great partners. You are cordially invited to cover this event, which will start on time and will last no longer than half hour. Please RSVP your attendance by responding. Well, I got the email, so I guess I have to respond to them, or 219-881-1314, 881-1314. That's the 16th. And, I was actually looking for the information for Gary. I know that they're having something on Monday, but I'll announce it tomorrow. we all need to think about these things that I said today. And I'll include myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm certainly willing to learn every day, whatever makes me better, to help others become better. And I think that's important, that we need to continue to educate ourselves, to learn, to know what's out there, to know what's right, to know what's not right, to know what's ethical, to know what's unethical. And when you know it's unethical, don't condone it, because that just makes you unethical, well, whether you believe it or not. And that's something that we need to clean up. We need to clear the air. We really need to be ethical, especially when it comes to being a politician, a public servant, mayor, judge, county, state, city. That's why I don't like politics, because of all the dirty tricks that people have to do. I don't rub elbows with people to get something for me. And I don't rub elbows, period. I just look at what's best for the community, for humankind. So now we're going to go for the weather. Hopefully it's better than some things out here. I think it's going to warm up. I'm going to pray on warmer weather. And let's see, Weatherman, what do you have for the rest of the week? And I just want to thank everybody for really tuning in today and being part of this conversation that means so much to us, more than you think.
All right, well, yesterday and the day before, we saw warm weather in the future in the forecast.
Don't give me no but now.
Well, hold on. Right now, it feels like 11 degrees outside. It's 18 degrees right now. Today's high was a high of 19 and a low of 11. It's partly cloudy outside. Thursday, tomorrow, partly cloudy again with a high of 30 and a low of 21. So, we're still kind of warm. Friday, partly sunny with a high of 33 and a low of 26. Saturday, partly sunny with a high of 40 and a low of 32. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high of 36 and a low of 23. Monday, partly sunny with a high of 31 and a low of 21. Tuesday, we're going to expect some snow with a high of 34 and a low of 27. And Wednesday, we'll have some flurries with a high of 34 and a low of 22. But remember, that's not with the wind chill.
What's the wind chill for tomorrow?
Well, I don't know. Give me a minute and I can look that up.
Sorry.
But it will be around the same temperature, 31 degrees outside tomorrow, I believe.
Well, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, tomorrow it's, here we go. Tomorrow it's supposed to feel like 30 degrees. Or no, it's supposed to feel like 15 degrees, but it'll be 30 degrees. So it's still going to be cold.
Okay. Well, I do want to make a quick announcement real quick before I end the show that on the 23rd of November, listen to me, that's what we were supposed to have it. On the 23rd of this month, it's a Friday, some students had been invited throughout the region by Purdue, Calumet, IUN, Calumet College of St. Joseph, and Ivy Tech. These are the schools that are participating: Clark, East Chicago Central, Gavitt, Hammond High, Morton, and Whiting. We are expecting over 230 students, 300 students to come to the Alumni Hall. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is that parents from these schools need to know that their students, some students were picked to attend this, but parents, we're asking for your participation if you have a junior or a senior of these schools that I've mentioned. For Latinos, your child has been selected to attend the METAS, which stands for Motivate, Educate, Complete, Dream, or Reach Goals and Dream. So METAS stands for goals, but it's an acronym. And the conference is taking place the 23rd from 8 to 2. We are inviting the parents of those students or parents of those schools. If you have a child that's a junior or a senior, we're inviting you to connect with us so that you can connect with your child. It is a parent conference as well. We added a parent component 3 years ago because it's important. It's not just a day off of school for kids and not be seen by their parents. It's also a day for parents to take the day off to know about your children's future. Parents and guardians of all students attending METAS are invited to participate in a parent conference on January 23rd at Purdue Calumet. The special conference will consist of keynote address, a presentation on financial aid and scholarships, and other resources. There is no cost to parents for this conference, and lunch will be served, but you must RSVP. Visit purduecal.edu/metas parents or register and call 219-989-2308, 989-2308. And this is to help with college readiness, for Latinos college readiness. Currently, we have been focusing in East Chicago Central. We also, speaking of East Chicago Central, because of funding, East Chicago Foundation, we have to focus on those students there for college readiness. Speaking of that, we're going to have for the students from East Chicago Central, a FAFSA night. That's important. That's your ticket to college. Dinero, money, scholarships, grants, what have you. That is coming up as well. I'm hoping we haven't missed it, because I know we were off at school those days, and the flyers were supposed to be sent out to the parents for the FAFSA night. But we're going to do this continuously for the East Chicago Central high schoolers. And that's Thursday, the 29th, from 4 to 7, East Chicago Central High School. Need money for college? Filling out the FAFSA is the starting point. That's for the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA. It must be completed by students by applying for state, federal, institutional financial aid. Even if you don't think your child would qualify for it, need-based financial aid, he or she should still complete this FAFSA to be eligible for student loans. The FAFSA can be completed online at www.fafsa.ed.gov as soon as possible, right after January 1st. So we're there now. And of course, they'll have experts on hand to provide individual help for students and parents completing the FAFSA and answer all your questions. In preparation for the event, you will need gathering requirements, and that you can contact them by getting the information 219-391-4001, extension 4002, and I'll repeat this information again tomorrow. I'm going to end this show with a quick song. We got to go. Tomorrow, Nuestra Comunidad Noroeste de Indiana is going to come on at 5 o'clock. So tune in for tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Gotta go, guys. It's been fun. It's been real. Gotta go. Gotta run. You guys be safe out there. Be careful out there. There's still some slick spots, so don't be in a rush to go anywhere. Peace to you guys. Love you. I'm sorry. See how I lost my track of days? Tomorrow is Thursday, so I will be back 5 o'clock on the evening drive. So you get one more day of me, but that's okay. I will complete this information and repeat it again tomorrow, because it's important about educating your students, your children. Peace.